Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. It's the Beater Bros podcast. What is going on, guys?
What is up?
What is up?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Hey,
I did it
Heller.
because Stevie skipped it.
It's true.
I
He did,
forgot.
and
I forgot the Heller today.
I am greatly
What was
upset.
What was I thinking? Redo.
Hold on. Just,
That was a loop de doop. Redo it.
that was a glitch.
That was yeah. That was just a glitch, guys.
Now I'm gonna do this one more time, and you better say it.
All right. Redo it.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. It's the Beater Bros podcast.
Heller.
There we go.
There we go. Now we're
All
good.
right. Now we can get started.
Now I feel a lot better.
Yeah. Oof. We almost got kicked off right there. Because that's supposed to be an everyday thing.
So I mean, tonight's
Alright.
topic, it's a little off topic of what we normally talk about, but it's something that I greatly enjoy, which is video games.
Good old video games.
Which video did you games?
I'm curious about what Stevie's first video game was.
I think it was like a rock and
And a stick.
not even just the rock.
Just the I didn't have the stick yet, Logan. It was just the rock.
Yeah. Yeah, that came
Then-
about 5 years later.
Yeah, as things progressed, then I got the stick. All
And
right.
he was just once he got the stick, he started carving pictures onto the rock.
Dude, I honestly don't know what the first game I ever played, man. Let's
Not
think,
the first game you played, the first system you owned.
first system I owned.
Yeah.
First one I ever owned when I was younger was probably like a Super Nintendo.
That was mine, Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and that was like Super Nintendo back then. That was a fancy thing. All right, when you had one of them, then that's like you owning like the good PCs now and the PS5s and all that. And then they had like the Game Boys.
I had a Sega Genesis after that, and that was like my pride and joy.
Yeah, I never. I don't think I ever owned an actual Game Boy until like later on. I was like, oh, I want to see what the hype is all about this, but yeah, it was never really owned a Game Boy, but Super Nintendo for sure was my first one.
That
I
was my
never
first
owned-
one was a Game Boy. No, Game Boy Color.
I never owned a Game Boy.
No.
Like, I have a Nintendo 3DS XL. Like, even right now I have one, but I've never had a Game Boy.
Polo says his was a red on Game Boy Color. And Squirrel says mine was a Tiger Hand held Power Rangers game.
Oh, well, if we're doing that, then my very first one was a handheld wrestling game where it's like barely
So-
like there was no backlight or anything. It was just like looked like the wrestlers were drawn and you controlled them with like a pad and 2 buttons.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Yep. I don't think I've ever had one of them. Like before freaking getting games and stuff, I had like the Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But,
Yeah, I had that too though.
but that was yep. Then I got the Super Nintendo, and then as I got older, we got like the Sega Genesis and the regular Nintendo, which I got that later on. But oh yeah, then when the Xbox came out, and then PlayStation and good old
I never-
007 N64.
And 64, that was the shit too.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't. That was my first one for sure. Was a Super Nintendo.
I
we
never
got it
had a
for Christmas.
PlayStation 1, but I've had a PlayStation 2 and 3 and 4.
I had a PlayStation 1, but it wasn't when I was younger. It was when I was older in life.
I remember playing Driver on the PS1.
Yep.
That was like my favorite game.
My favorite game on the PS1 was either Crash Bandicoot or Grand Theft Auto, I don't remember which one it was, but it was like an above view. You know
Yeah,
what
that
I
had to be
mean?
like the first three, or yeah,
Yeah.
first two or three. Can't remember because there's so
Oh,
many different types of them now. It's just
oh yeah. Pretty. Don't they have like a new one?
yeah, I think they're making a GTA 6 now.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I'm not
I
sure if
don't.
it's I haven't looked into it too much, but I'm not sure if it's taking place like after GTA 5 or if it's just a whole new storyline. I have
Yeah, I'm
no
not
idea.
sure. I didn't. I didn't like. I've seen a couple like ads or whatever form, like little commercial things for it, but never really looked into it.
I
They're making
think
a
Grand
new.
Theft Auto was 5. 5 was cool at first.
Yeah, it just got really old. Like
Yeah.
especially if you were playing online, it just got really old, and I got sick of it for sure.
Yeah, walk out of my fucking clubhouse and get shot from
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sky as soon as I come out.
No, I got flying like it was cool at first, yeah, and then they come out with these DLCs of flying motorcycles and the flying cars, and it's like, what kind of ridiculous stuff is that? There is no flying car that I know of. Well, there is, but nothing like that. You're gonna seeing tons of people flying through the air and shooting you down.
Right. Well, I mean,
I'm gonna make the first one.
they made models of it and it didn't go so well.
Right.
But I mean,
Well, that's
with
what
the
I'm saying.
technology that we have now, I'm sure there's a model out there that they haven't released yet because they want their first release to be like the final product, like the finished thing.
Yeah.
No
Could you
bugs, no
imagine
nothing.
that? Could you imagine that flying cars? Like everybody just having one of them, dude. And like I would rather get into an accident on the ground than in the air because you're dying once you come down.
Yeah.
Like there's no like maybe getting a couple bruises or whatever and walking away. You're coming from the air.
Right. Yeah.
Call
Imagine being
Yeah.
thousands of feet in the air and then just running out of gas. It just stalls in midair.
like great. They have to have some kind of like security feature where like if it does that, then
Yeah, you
it's
just
gonna
eject your seat and you fly in the air and you have a parachute.
your insurance policy is gonna be so high
Oh yeah.
for one of them.
So Squirrel, our other host on here that was you were missing tonight. He says his favorite PS1 game was Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I actually remember
Oh,
playing that.
Castlevania, that was a good game.
They were all good, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. There were some pretty crappy games out there.
there still is,
Yeah.
but
I used to enjoy a game. I think it was called Egg Egg of Steel or something like that. It was for the PlayStation 1. You're literally an egg going through like a steel factory, but I thought it was fun. I don't know.
I don't think I've ever played that.
Cody used to have it.
I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Should look it up.
I will. Matter of fact,
I was just
yeah, I
looking
just,
around and I just like went back and just looking at the Atari, like just
mhm.
the Pong game that it had, then all the way now to like what we have now, like virtual reality, like almost lifelike realistic graphics. It's
Yep.
like Jesus, like what else can it? What else can come of this? Like how can they
Right.
even top that?
Right, that's the thing. I don't think that. I think after a while, within the next few years, I think they're just going to stop making actual consoles. Like, how much farther can you go with the PlayStations and the Xboxes? Like
Except
they
for,
already have the PS5 now, and then the Xbox One S and One X or whatever. You can't go too much farther with it. I think they're gonna stop making consoles, and I think it's just gonna be all like virtual reality stuff.
Yeah, there's always going to be games coming out though, at least, because there's always ideas for games.
Right. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be new games coming out. It's just going to be, I think it's going to be instead of them making new consoles now, it's just going to be virtual reality stuff.
Yeah, and you're just going to have to update your console because there isn't a new one, so they're just going to release updates like a computer probably.
Yep. That's kind of like the iPhone, like what they do with that. So like if you have, because the new one's what, the 13, I think. So if you have like a iPhone, I think it's an iPhone 6 or lower, then like you basically can't get it turned on through like Verizon and stuff like that. You can get them turned on through like the non-contract things, but you can't, like if you're trying to go through Verizon and you have one and you want to get it turned on to them, through a contract, you can't. You basically have to buy a newer phone now.
I'm not sure who it is, but someone said the PS5 is basically a micro PC, which I mean, No, that's more or less for the Xbox. Xbox like a micro PC. Like
Yeah, yeah, because they both have
It's
the
Microsoft.
yeah,
yeah, pretty much any game you can get on Xbox, you can get on PC, and like not every game that on PC you can get on Xbox, but most of them.
Polo
Like
says
some of them strictly PC.
Polo says that they're gonna put a chip in our heads for video games and to use our phones too.
Dude, I wouldn't doubt that. Like, do you remember? I don't know if I forgot what the movie was called,
You have to
but
kill me first.
it's a guy that he basically like well, it's a kid and like a teenager or whatever, but he's basically in a room with like, surrounded by like monitors stuff like that, and he's controlling an actual person.
Oh,
Like,
that
that's
was
out there.
War Games, I think. I think it's called War Games.
Yeah, I forgot what it was, but yeah, he's controlling the person to where like how you would play Call of Duty, you're controlling a character. You're controlling an actual person, and it's the same type of situation, though, like a
Yeah.
war or something like that, and
Yep.
some type of game. That would be, and I wouldn't doubt that one bit. Like all these people that are just going to be on death row and stuff like that. Like, hey, if you guys want out, we'll put a chip in your head, and you're going to be basically a character in a video game,
Right.
and someone's going to control everything that you do.
See, I
Can you
think
imagine that?
I think if we progress any more than what we're already at, like doubling like the invention is it's going to be something similar to the movie Ready Player One. Like, because in Ready Player One, they basically put the headset on, and their body pretty much goes numb, and their whole like I guess mind goes straight into the video game, and they just like live in the video game.
Yeah, that would suck. Because, like, what if you die in the video game? Then are you dead? Or do you still come back?
Pretty much fucked, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that would suck.
That would suck.
But I think, yeah, if they're going to, if it ever came down to that, where they're going to put, like, chips in people's head where they're going to be the character in a game, they need to do with all these people that are, like, child molesters, stuff like that, that spend their life in prison. Freaking give them to them. Put a chip in their head. They can be the characters.
I mean, yeah, that could work for sure.
I'm not going to put a chip in my head.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, so
It's like my brain cells are barely holding on as it is. Don't be digging
right,
in there.
yeah, you put a chip in there, buddy. We're screwed.
Like I said, you're gonna have to kill me first. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, I don't think I would ever let them put a chip in me and tell me you're going to be a character. And you never know, maybe we are characters in the game right now. But as far as that stuff goes, to where I know I'm gonna be a character in the game, and not knowing if I'm gonna get my head blown off in a war game, or I mean, you can put me in a good game like The Sims or something, something like that, something like that. But you ain't put me in like no Call of Duty type game or what kind of game like me fighting a dragon or something. It ain't gonna happen. No,
You don't want to fight a dragon, Stevie?
No, absolutely not, dude.
I thought that was on the bucket list.
Now, that bucket list is getting a lot shorter as I'm getting older. I can tell you that right now. And fighting a dragon kind of went out the window.
Yeah, fuck that.
You know what's funny, and it's kind of offensive to you too, but but I'm looking at a picture of the old video game Pong, like from the
Mhm.
Atari. So if you and Logan stood on opposite sides of the room and start playing catch from an overhead view, it's Pong. It's literally Pong.
Just two lines
Yeah,
with a ball
Two
bouncing back and
lines.
forth.
It's funny because it's accurate.
It's pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate. I mean, I'd be a thin line, but
Yeah, I mean, you're crossing that. Robert's crossing that thin line.
it's very thin.
Hey, well, like yeah, it's thin. I ain't gonna lie about it.
He's like, well, I mean, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like that's it.
See,
Yeah, I
now
don't
I'm
know, like-
confused because there's an article right here because it says originally the Atari was the first video game or console invented,
Mm.
but there's another one saying that that was wrong, and there's this little system called Magnavox Odyssey.
You know what? I think I did see that on TV.
What was it called?
the Magnavox Odyssey. It was
I
invented
remember the
by
name Odyssey.
Ralph Baer. But basically, you were able to play. Well, God, uh, a local it's like a local arcade. Basically, it's play a pizza parlor game, a bowling game, anything. Like I don't know. Like it's just weird. Like I'm trying to read up on it, and then the whole thing itself is just confusing.
I wish I could remember. I did see something about something called an Odyssey on TV.
I remember. See, I've never heard of that one, but I do remember getting the game. Now this was, man, I had to have been, I must have 8 or 9, maybe 10, somewhere around there. But and I honestly forgot what the game was called. It was called like, and I don't know if it was like a one-off type system, just to like, see how it went. But it was called like I something, and I forgot. I forgot what it was called, but basically, like it came with a game, and it was like a Western type game. So, and these people like in the game, like they weren't like characters. So it's like a third person or first person view of the game, but they weren't like actual. They were actual real people. Like they would come up to you and like part of the storyline of the game, but they would actually like it's actual real people talking, and then like throughout the whole game, like if you shot someone, it was a real person. Like obviously it's not like you shooting someone in the game. Like it's not characters that are like playing the roles; it's actual people playing the stuff.
Right.
And I'm trying to remember what the. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna have to look it up to see what that game's called because I remember having one, and that might have been a Mandela effect type deal, but I remember having one of them. That's for sure. I have to look it up, and then I'll get back to you.
Get back to you, manana.
I'm have to get back to you.
Uh, so Squirrel's saying to look up the. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but I'm not sure if it's Bailey or Bali. Home video game systems. But yeah,
Is that like a new type deal coming?
No,
That's
it's
coming out, or?
it's older than that. It actually came.
Oh.
I just looked it up real quick. It actually came out. Uh, it was announced in October of 1977, but it was released in 1978, and that was actually before the Atari.
Dude, I
What
don't
was it?
remember
What was it
anything.
called again?
The Bali. Well, the actual term for it is the Bali Astro Arcade home or game system.
Never heard of that one either.
Right. That's like it's. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like these games were just released, and then they were just never popular because they were just trash.
Probably, or they didn't sell good, so they were just they kind of took them off. That's what I
Right.
think. I'm trying to look. I'm looking up that game right now, that system, and I think that's what happened with that. Is like they just wanted to. They brought it out so many of them, see how it would sell, and then it didn't sell too well because it was a weird freaking game.
I sent you a picture of that Odyssey so you can see what it looks like. Look how big them damn controllers are.
Yeah, that's actually pretty huge. Well, I'm gonna actually throw it up on the live here so other people can see it.
All right, yeah, because I want to.
Give me one moment. Here you go.
I feel like that's more advanced than Pong for the Atari, though.
Right.
So how do you go if that was a real thing? How do you go from that to the
Yeah.
Atari?
Right. Almost seems like some kind of a downgrade.
Yeah. That came out in 1970. What did it say? 72.
Uh, yeah, something like that.
Look at that controller, bro.
It doesn't even look like a controller.
Looks like something you. It looks like it's something you'd see in an eye doctor. What is that,
That's the fucking Odyssey.
dude? I'm so glad we didn't have games that look like that growing up.
That thing's
That
probably worth a
is,
lot of money right now because there's no way they made that many of them.
So I just looked up like the kind of games that they played for that system. Uh, it's kind of like the Atari. You can play table tennis, ski, Simon Says, tennis, analogic, hockey, and football for only for passing and kicking. Cat and mouse, football part 2, which is just for running. Haunted house, submarine, roulette, and states. Those games don't even sound, not even in the closest way of fun.
No.
All right, I found that game that I was talking about. It's called a CDI.
The CDI.
Yeah, it's
I've,
called a CDI.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yep, it's a Philips CDI 910. If you look that up, Robert, I'm gonna look the game up that I was
I
talking
just
about.
looked it up. It looks like a goddamn VCR.
Yeah, yeah, it does.
There's
Till you
someone,
open it.
There's someone selling one on eBay for $330.
Mm-hmm. Man, I should have kept it.
It released in 1990.
And then the game that I had
it looks
for
like a
it,
VCR with a Super Nintendo controller.
yeah,
Dude, check this out. It says the machine costed $1,000 in 1992.
mm-hmm, yep,
That's a lot of money in 1992, especially.
yeah. And I forgot where we got it at. I don't know. I forgot where we got it at, but I know it wasn't $1,000, obviously.
Well,
But
yeah, no.
yeah,
I just threw up a picture of that game system.
but yeah. I mean, you can get Zelda on there. You can get Tetris. Like it's something called Hotel Mario.
Hotel Mario.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of that.
I mean, it did take a disc, though.
Yeah.
In that 1992, when did when did DVD players come out? They wasn't out in 92 because we had a VCR. Right?
Yeah, I know DVD players weren't out then that I know of. No. No, I don't know what year it was. But
Well,
I don't think it was that early with the DVD players and stuff.
well, Sega Dreamcast, I don't know when that came out. I'm about to look it up, but they took discs. That came
The Dreamcast, yeah.
Dreamcast released in 1998, so that was even later than that.
He said, Brian said, if you want to see a weird one, look up Panasonic 3DO and Intellivision or something like that. Intellivision.
Panasonic 3D.
Dude, that thing was ahead of its time. The DVD player came out in 96.
Holy
Yeah.
crap. This 3DO thing is just a little different looking. The lifespan of it, it was only out for 3 years, to be honest with you. The lifespan of it was from 93 to 96.
What, that game right there?
Yeah, the 3DO.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just from 93 to 96. Trying to see what kind of games you could play on that thing. Crash and Burn. It's a racing game, it looks like. Alone in the Dark. It's a horror video game. Myst. Star Control 2. Total Eclipse. Jurassic Park Interactive. Gex or Gex. Oh yeah, Gex. I remember actually. Oh my god, I actually remember playing that game.
Yeah, Gex 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember playing that game. Crash and Burn, Slayer, Killing Time, Need for Speed, Road Rash, Mercenary. Huh. Yeah, I mean that's actually not too bad. I mean for its time, it was good.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't know why it didn't last as long as they were hoping it to.
I mean, Nintendo lasted the longest. I mean, Sega lasted for a while. Actually, had a pretty good run.
Right. Well, like we were talking about earlier with the PSP, that should have came out later than when it did.
Yeah, it would have done way better.
Right. And I'm just
Because
going
you
to,
remember Def Jam Fight for New York, that game?
yeah.
You could get that on a PSP, and I played that literally all day on my PSP. That was groundbreaking for me.
So Philip Glenn wants to know what console I just had up. It was
The CDI.
yeah,
Yep, the CDI 910.
basically a VCR with a controller.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
So I'm gonna throw up another picture. It's just
Cole
basically like
said, "Has anyone used ROB from Nintendo?"
ROB.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna take a quick gander at that real quick. But I just put up another picture, and it's basically just for like graphics, like the progression of them from, the first Doom game to now.
I mean, look at that crap.
Hey, that OG Doom was so cool though.
It was, and I love that the old school Doom, like because that was like the first, not first shooter, but like game like that I played. Looks like he's shooting out ketchup or something.
Yeah, that's definitely a big switch.
Oh yeah,
All right, so what Polos is talking about, it's basically like a little robot. It's like a toy, and Nintendo created it for kids and whatnot, but it's basically like how people have those little robotic pet things nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
is
like
that
that.
Wolfenstein? Brian said that's not Doom, that's Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein or whatever. I don't know. I've never
Same
played
difference.
Yeah, I never
Yeah.
played it either.
that one. Yeah, so it looks like Doom though. Like if you look
Let's
at
say the only
first
game I
one.
played that looked like that's it would look like Doom.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I can see why he said that because you're shooting at a soldier and not a monster.
True.
Fair enough.
True. What was it? I sent a picture. Let's see.
Huh.
What is that? A battery? I think he just sent. Holy. Oh, okay. So I never put. Did you get that picture of it?
Yeah, I just got it.
Okay.
I'm gonna throw it up on the stream.
And Ashley Cummins said that she loved playing Road Rash on the Sega Genesis.
Because the Sega Genesis this was kind of like a god back then.
Oh yeah, dude, it definitely was.
Dude, I was telling Robert earlier, I had a game called Chester the Cheetah, and it was the cheetah from the Cheetos commercials. Like he had his own game.
What?
What?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
Dude, you could look it up, man. It was like the funniest game ever, besides Splatterhouse 3.
So like, what was the game about though?
Basically, it's just like kind of like Mario. You're like jumping across alligators in water, trying not to fall in the water. You're like collecting Cheetos and shit. Like it was fun.
So I mean,
man.
basically, it was like the same gameplay as Aladdin back in the day.
Yeah, pretty much. Except it was different, like background and different theme and all that.
Right. But say a lot of people they pretty much stole the same cinematics from video games and just changed like the details of them. Like with
Now,
Aladdin.
what is? See, I've like that's a regular Nintendo. I've used the gun, but I never used iRobot there. What is that?
That's Wally.
Like,
Yeah, I've never seen that or
no,
heard of it.
that's the deluxe set, huh? I've never. Like, what was it? Is it a camera? Like, what was it used for?
That's a good question. I mean, it clearly it's an entertainment system, but like, what did it do?
Yeah, because I've never. This is literally the first time I've ever seen one of them, and yeah, what
Yeah, I've
did
never
that
seen
thing
one of
do?
them.
Did it like go up to when you're playing multiplayer with someone, go up and trip the other person or get the controller out of his hand when you're losing? Or need one of them nowadays.
Right.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And Ashley Cummins says again, the Sega Genesis was an awesome game console, and it had so many different games you can play on it.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure I overplayed Sonic way too much on the Sega. I mean,
Oh, for sure.
Did you guys ever play Splatterhouse 3 on the Sega Genesis?
No.
can't say that
Greatest
I
game
have.
ever, literally. Greatest game ever. They actually
Yeah.
remade it again for the PlayStation. I can't remember exactly which PlayStation, but it was like they remade the entire game for it. And better graphics and, you know, storyline, all that shit.
I've never played that.
Well, you know what? You need to change that, and your life will change.
Oh, all right. Well, it better. Robert, I'm actually gonna send a picture to what is Chester? Gee, that is crazy.
Look, I told you, too cool to fool, man.
I've never, dude. I've like, I,
I've never
I
seen
must
that.
be behind on times because I have never heard that.
I told you, man.
That is nuts.
Isn't that the same one as like it ain't easy being cheesy?
Yep, that's him. The one and only.
That's him. That's All right, I'm gonna Robert. So like whenever we have a minute, I'm gonna have you put this up. Like you don't have to put it up right now, but it's a new sponsor we have. So
Ooh,
whenever we get a minute, you can put it up.
well,
But yeah, I've never seen that, Logan, at all. Like, where'd you even get that from?
The game
Yeah,
itself.
yeah, like
I can't remember the name of it, but it was like a little shop. Is in Amherst, by close to where the old guitar place used to be before they moved it.
mm,
mm,
There was a video game shop in there. And they sold like all Sega Genesis back then, you know what I'm saying? They sold all Super
right,
Nintendo, Sega Genesis, shit like that. And I've just found it in there and I got it.
yeah. See, back then, like my teenage years and like when I was younger, I never really got into video games. Like I would play them, but I never really got into them. Like to where if I had a system, I would play. But I remember, man, I used to go to my buddy's house on the east side of Lorraine when we were younger, still in school. Get out of school and go there, and his neighbor had the what was it? The GameCube. Yeah, GameCube. Now that's how far back, and that was a new thing when I used to go over there. And I
Yeah, I
remember
remember
him
when
having
GameCube
like
came out.
yeah, I remember him having like a UFC game for it. And dude, like I forgot there's like a blue guy you can be, like just straight blue. And it was like the best game ever though, like for UFC at the time. That was the best game ever. But now, I mean, you look at the freaking UFC games and it looks crazy nowadays. I haven't played the new one. I think it's like UFC 4 or something like that. I haven't played that one, but
I can't
I'm not gonna
remember.
lie, when GameCube came out, I used to play a game called iNinja and I was like obsessed with that game.
what was it? iNinja?
iNinja, and the graphics were actually not bad on that.
I can't
Now is it?
remember what system it was for, but I remember playing this game. It was like Mike Tyson's Knockout or something. It was something weird like that. Where it
Yeah,
was
that's
like,
a game. That's a game.
Yeah.
what system was that for?
It was an early system. It was like I think it was like Super Nintendo or something. I can't really remember, but it was an early ass game.
Yeah, it
Right,
was.
I remember playing it, but I can't remember for the life of me what I played it on.
I know what game you're talking about. I don't think it was for like. I don't think it was for Nintendo 64. I think it was either PlayStation 1 or the Super Nintendo. One of the two. I think it was PlayStation 1. PlayStation 1, I'm pretty sure, too.
It was a regular Nintendo. It wasn't the Super Nintendo. It was the regular Nintendo.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, all right, Steve, I want to throw that picture up if you want to go ahead and.
Yep. As soon as I can see it when it's up, I can't. Mine always has some kind of delay whenever you put something up.
Yeah, mine does too.
Well, I still had it set up for gaming, so.
Yeah, so that's that's our new sponsor. So the beard oil is called Gucci Guilty Nourishing Beard Oil, and they have 4 fragrances: Platinum, Love, Intense, and Black. And you can use it for your hair too. It's not just for beards. You can use it for hair too. That's the link right there on the actual picture. But I also put the link on our Facebook page, and like I said, it's on our Instagram and all that. So definitely go and check it out. He's actually going to be sending some so we can test it out and go live and show that we're using it, and so we can actually see what it does. But
I'll definitely do
definitely check
that.
it out. Yeah,
I'll
definitely check it
do
out.
that.
It's for all you bearded bros and bearded gals.
That's right.
I hope there's none of them actually.
Not that we judge if you have one, but and again, you can use it for your hair. So I can't use it for mine because I have no hair, so I will definitely use it for my beard.
I will use it for my
Definitely,
beard. I can't use it for my hair because there's not enough in that bottle to get all of my hair.
That's very true. But definitely check them out.
I'll throw it up on my eyebrows. I'm sure it'll work.
It should.
There you go.
It should definitely work.
Yeah, as far as video games go, like even from like the first zombie video game, like it progressed so much.
What was the first zombie video game?
I don't know, but I remember playing this one where it's like I think it's called like Ed the Zombie or something like that, where you had to walk around and throw brains at people and create your own little horde, basically.
What was that on?
Oh God, I think I played that on the original Xbox.
Jesus, I don't even remember that game.
Oh my
I think
god, check this out. The first video game with a zombie is Entombed, released in 1982. Doesn't say what system, but that was the first one.
Right.
Dude, I think the first zombie game I've ever played was like Left 4 Dead.
The first one I ever played, does Resident Evil count?
I mean, I guess it could.
I mean, they were zombies.
Right, I guess it could.
It just had that weird camera angle and like weird controlling. I didn't really like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
I never really got into the Resident Evil games.
I'm just going through a list of different zombie games, and just like some of these are just like, why have I never heard of these? Like Zombie Nation, Horror Zombies from the Crypt, Sweet Home,
There's so many.
Beast Busters.
Beef Busters. Did
Yeah.
you just say Beef Busters?
Beast Busters. Yes.
I thought you said beef too. I'm like, I don't want
That's
to
what
play
I thought
that.
he said. I thought he said
Beef?
Beef Busters.
That we got these beat beaters here, and
You might as well call me the Beef Buster. Oh man, I was like, wait a minute. You sure that's a zombie game?
Wait, what was that game called again?
Beast Busters.
Beast.
Beast Busters. Man, I was like, what in the world? Are these freaking zombies walking around with 1970 porn stashes on too?
Oh, holy shit, dude.
Man, what are Beef Busters?
It was an arcade game on the Amiga, the Atari ST, and that was back
I'm
in
actually,
'89.
I'm looking at screenshots of this. I would imagine it had a gun with it. It looks actually pretty cool.
Did the Atari come with a gun? Like a
Yeah, because they had a duck hunt. Or was that? No, that was a Nintendo.
Regular Nintendo had.
Yeah, it was regular Nintendo. I don't know. I don't think they did. I don't know. Maybe.
I think Atari all they had was like, and they might have had a gun that came with it, but I think all they had was like the joystick and then what, like 3 buttons.
I think it was 2 buttons.
Yeah, it's like probably the easiest like setup in the world.
They had an Atari gun. It was called the
Okay.
Atari XG1. Released in 1987.
1987. That's nuts. Like I just couldn't imagine like growing up playing. I guess I'm thinking like the games we play now, like in the future, people are gonna be like, I can imagine growing up playing a PS5 or whatever. Or,
Right.
so I mean,
Yeah,
like
just
look at
think
this
years.
cool glasses I can just put on my freaking head and walk around.
Right, just think like years from now, they're gonna look back and look at the PS5 and be like, into like just the year span. It's like for us that could have been the Atari, but for them it's the PS5.
Yep.
Bro, this gun looks like a laser gun from Star Trek or something.
For what?
The Atari.
Oh, the gun for the Atari.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at still at that zombie game list, and the very last game ever made for zombie games was Dying Light 2, which
Really?
I have. Yeah, which I have, and it's a decent game, but I don't
I
believe
like-
that's the last one.
I like I guess it's not really newer, but I like State of Decay.
Yeah, I've been
I
playing
never
that too,
played that.
and
That is-
World War Z,
Yeah,
and,
I never
like
played
World
either
War
one of
Z.
them.
and
State
Days
of
Gone.
Decay is actually pretty cool. I think that's only for Xbox though, right?
State of Decay
Xbox
2.
and PC. Yeah,
I know the
pretty sure
second
it's
one
just-
you can get on PC, but I don't know about the first one. I don't think you can get the first one on PC. It says you could, but I've never was able to find it.
See, I've never really been like big into zombie anything. Left 4 Dead 2 was amazing. I could play that all day, every day. But
Oh,
other
yeah.
than that, I don't really get into zombie shit really.
Well, plus like they have a new game, a new Left 4 Dead. I forgot what.
Back
I
4
think
Blood.
I had it.
Yeah, it's Back 4 Blood. I actually own it. I've played it
Yeah.
a few times with Cody.
That's I love it. Like you can still like that's the one thing I liked about Left 4 Dead. I mean, you can do it with other games, but like
I mean,
you know with like the PlayStation or the Xbox and stuff, where you can hook up 4 controllers or whatever, and then you guys are all sitting right there and split screens playing.
World War Z is the same way, like game style, but the only difference is like the amount of zombies and like guns,
Yeah.
basically.
Now World War Z, that's just an online game, right?
Well, I mean, I can play it by myself, but it doesn't necessarily have to be online.
Okay, because I remember playing it because I had it. That's when I had the PC, and I had it, but I just played online, and it was so hard. Like it depended on who you were playing with. Like if the people were actually trying to play the game, then that's one thing. But dude, it was so hard.
Right.
This isn't a video game, but you guys remember the movie Dawn of the Dead?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I feel like that movie was a game changer because in all the movies the zombies just walked. That's all they did. And then all
Right.
of a sudden Dawn of the Dead came out and the zombies were fucking sprinting. Like they were running.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's a game changer for like that movie is what made zombies scary because they were not just walking.
Right.
Now is that the Dawn of the Dead? Is that the comedian type?
No, that was Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
That's what. Okay, yeah.
Dawn of the Dead is when they was trapped in the mall almost
Right.
the entire movie.
Yep.
I feel like that's the same one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the one where they strapped like supplies to the dog, and it went through the entire horde of the zombies to the other building.
Yeah,
Well,
yep.
Okay, I was
Yeah,
saying.
I think that's the one. Yeah. And then they had a Down with the Sickness doo-wop song in there. They changed it to doo-wop.
I couldn't imagine that.
He's really saying like, "You fucker, get up, come on, get down with the sickness." Like he is really like a doo-wop shit. I'm like, what the fuck?
so stupid.
Yeah, I couldn't be doing all that nonsense.
Oh.
Where would you go if an apocalypse happened? Would you go to a mall? Would you go to like a store? Like where would you try to go?
I
if
would
that even happened?
probably. I wouldn't go to the mall, like especially around us, because there ain't nothing in it.
Yeah.
I would probably go somewhere where there's going to at least be food. Honestly, I would probably go to.
I would go to
like
Walmart. They got
Walmart.
guns and food.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Walmart because they have the ammo there, they have the guns, and then they have food. So
Honestly,
that'll
I
probably be our best bet.
wouldn't go anywhere for the first 48 hours.
Oh yeah, I'm not going right away. I'm gonna let it sit, but at the same time, if you let it sit, somebody else might have already cleaned it out.
It's
Yep.
true, but but you gotta think though, everyone's gonna go for these big stores, like where they're gonna sell weapons and tons of food. They're not gonna hit up these little mom and pop shops. Like, no, I'm gonna that's where I'm gonna hit. 'Cause that's where people are not gonna go because you're not gonna think to find a lot of supplies there.
Right. And at the same time, I already got a gun. I already got a few guns, so.
Right. So it's not like I need to go to the gun store, right away.
Right.
The only thing you're really gonna need after so long is ammo, and then but I'll shoot somebody for that.
But it also depends too on what kind of zombies we're dealing with here. Are we talking Walking Dead zombies where they're just gonna mope around?
No,
Or-
we're talking
or-
about Dawn of the Dead zombies where they're sprinting at you.
Nah, screw all that.
If that's the case, I'm just gonna walk outside and say, "Come get me now." I'm
Yeah,
done.
No point in running. Come get me.
That shit is crazy. I never really thought about that until just now. Like, what if a zombie apocalypse actually happened?
Yeah, you never know the way this place is going. I'm sure, and I don't think it's gonna be actual zombies, but I think it's gonna be people freaking killing and hoarding like everything and robbing stores. I mean, there's already a freaking like groceries that you barely get anything anymore. Gas is crazy. So I think it's going to be something like that. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be zombies, but
That's not too far fetched. I actually believe in what you're saying right now.
yeah, I mean, look, and I don't know where the place is. Um, I can't think of the state, but anyways, look how many cows were found dead, and I mean not just like a couple. I mean there were dozens of cows found dead on the same day, just laying there dead, and then
From what?
no one knows. It's like they think it's a big cover up, and no one knows, and they think it has something to do with like basically not basically how it is now with like the food, like not being able to get hamburger and stuff like that. Like that's basically what they're trying to make it come down to. Because in that same area, four food processing plants went up in flames. So I mean,
Well, they're trying to give out processed, like completely 100% fake processed meat is what they're trying to do.
yeah, with like chemicals and stuff in it.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, and it's no, it ain't gonna happen.
I mean, it might happen, but there's nothing we could do about it.
Right. I mean, we're never gonna know if it's, you know what I'm saying, like if it's real hamburger, or if it's freaking plastic that we're eating. If you're
Right.
hungry, you're hungry, so you're gonna eat it. I was thinking too about Robert when you're talking about like that one picture you put up with how it looked back then and how it looks now with the game. Look at wrestling games.
Yeah.
Like like what they came out back when the N64 and Super Nintendo and stuff was out, them wrestling games, and you look at them compared to like the graphics to like the new one, the 2K22. It's crazy. Like the think like back then we were like, wow, these graphics are freaking great. And you look at them now and you're just like, wow, I was literally wrestling like 2 boxes wrestling.
Right.
I think the last wrestling game I got was 2K19, I think. I think that was the last one. Whichever one you told me to buy, Stevie, you remember?
Yeah, yep.
That was the last
2K19.
one. That's the last one I bought or even played.
Yeah, I had two. I didn't buy it, but I was able to get it for free on like the Game Pass or whatever. It was 2K20. But I mean, literally, like the games nowadays, like with wrestling at least, and football, it nothing like really changes other than like different people being in the game, but nothing really changes. Like how some what was I getting ready to say? I don't know, but nothing like okay. So yeah, back in the day, like when you would buy a new wrestling game, like the new one would just come out. So, but there would be like a storyline that you can play as well, other than just different matches and different people. There was like storylines that you can play.
Yeah, like Day of Reckoning, you can create a character, you can create your entrance.
Right. I mean,
It
you
had
can
a
still do
story,
that
all
stuff,
that shit.
but like I remember playing where you can be you're a creative character, whatever one you make, but then you can also be in a storyline where you get like start from the bottom and try to work your way up to get to the belt or whatever. And like now
Right.
they don't have that. They have storylines, but it's just basically like you're replaying an actual wrestler's like career. Like Rey Mysterio's, I think is this year's, where you just basically every like all his major matches he's had since he started all the way up until now, you'll play them to unlock things. And like last year was I think I don't know who like one year was John Cena. Then it's like stuff like that, and it's not the same like it used to be. But
I hated John Cena.
yeah,
Ashley Cummings says, I'm pretty sure the dead cow thing was caused from the excessive heat and high humidity.
well, yeah, and that's what it is. That's what they were thinking, that it was caused from the high heat and humidity. But someone was saying that they have cows and stuff in like Florida and all that, and they have high heat and all, but and their cows aren't dying. And it wasn't like I said. I guess It could have been. I'm not saying it can't be. It definitely could have been, but when you have that many cows just found dead the next day, and it's like I said, it could have been from the heat and humidity and all that, but who knows? We'll
Who
never
knows
know.
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Day of Reckoning for I think it
Yep.
was GameCube?
Yep.
I would spend literally hours making an entrance to make my pyrotechnics all perfect. Like, I had tons of pyrotechnics. I would make the music perfect to when the pyrotechnics hit and shit. I would
Yep.
spend hours on my entrance.
Yep. Before I would play the game when I first got it. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a feel for it. But then when it came down to creating a character, dude, I would spend probably like the whole day. Yeah, just making sure like everything on that character was like how I wanted it for sure.
Yeah,
And
like the
then yeah,
moves
the
and
music,
attributes and shit.
the music,
Yeah.
the entrance, like the way he
Yeah.
walks down the aisle, the way he gets in the ring, like, all that stuff, dude. It was great. I mean, you can still do that, but it's like it's so much like back then when we got them games, it wasn't like easy to do all that stuff. You actually had to go
Right.
in there and like what type of fire. Like now you can just put like easy setup and you can take after like the Big Show's entrance or like the Rock's entrance and just change the music. But you don't have to do all that. Like whatever happens when John Cena walks out, that will happen with your guy. You'll just have different music.
Yeah, see, I don't like that. I want my shit how I want it, perfect,
Exactly. I mean,
every
you can
little
do that.
inch.
You can do that still. Like you can absolutely like still do that to where you like the lighting in the arena. You can whatever color you want, the fireworks, all that stuff. But they also have it the easy way where someone can just like, nah, I don't want to deal with all that. They'll just freaking, copy off someone else's stuff, change the music or whatever, and then that'd be that.
Right.
I remember back when we used to play I can't remember which one it was, but we used to create like different people and just made them look stupid or funny or whatever. Then
Yep.
I remember, I'm not sure if it was my guy or someone else's, but it was like coming all the way from Cleveland, Ohio, the devil.
Yep. I think that was man, what was it? Like it was like either I think it was like either 2000, it was WWE 2000 like 16, 17. I don't know. It was one around that area. But yeah, we would just create characters, and we would also we would create our characters for each of us, like me, him, Brian, and then we would create characters for like other people. Like we would make one for you or something like that, or make one for Cody, or make one for whoever, and then we won't even play the characters. We'll put them all in a match, whether it's a ladder match or cage match, and we'll just like let the computers wrestle to see who would win.
Yeah,
And
we
dude,
used to
some
do
of
that too
stuff,
with Day
man.
of Reckoning.
Yep.
Yeah, some of that stuff was pretty funny. Because like someone would be like the smallest wrestler in the world in there, and they would beat like all these giants. And I'm just like, how? How did you do that?
See, I feel like games now, I think they're more or less going for the look of the game than how the game is
Yep.
actually being played.
That's all it is anymore. They're putting more money and more time into the graphics and stuff, which is fine, but they're not putting enough time into like making it an actual good game. That's for sure. Because, like I said, these wrestling games now and these football games, it's literally the same thing every year for like the past 4 or 5 years. The same thing every year, except it has a different, like, obviously different person on the cover. It has different wrestlers because how the roster changes and all that. Same with football. Like, I remember one thing about like football. I know Robert doesn't play football games or nothing like that, but they don't even. I remember back in the day, not years ago, they used to have the college football games that you can play. The NCAA don't even have that anymore, and because you would be able to like, so like let's say you had NCAA 2002 or whatever. At the end of your college career, you can and if you get the Madden game for that same year, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's for the same year or the year after, one of the two. But you can basically import your character that you made for NCAA or the players from NCAA and import them into like the actual NFL, to where you can go on a team. So you're not like creating a whole new character on Madden. You'll have the same character you created in NCAA. You'll just have them on Madden now. But they don't even have NCAA anymore.
Yeah, I used to play the football games, but it's not like the ones like you play now. It was Blitz, Blitz the League. I used to play that
Dude,
relentlessly.
Hey, that was a good game.
Blitz.
They should make a new one of those, if
They
anything.
should.
You guys
They
remember,
made one, how long ago did they make that last Blitz game? It was a few years ago they made a Blitz game. And it was actually pretty good. It was pretty much the same as like the old one was, because that's when I used to play the old one all the time. But yeah, they made one a few years ago. They made one. Better graphics. That's about it.
I remember playing on an old system. It was another football game, but you were like caveman. You're
Yep.
like you're
And
caveman, and you
trolls and stuff like
yeah,
that.
and you had to pick up weapons to keep the ball in your hand.
Yep, I remember that. And I forgot what it was called. It was called like Blood Bowl or something like that.
Yeah,
It was,
something like that.
Yeah.
You
It
guys
was pretty
remember
fun.
NFL Street?
Yep.
I remember I would sit there for hours playing NFL Street 2. That
Yep.
was one of the greatest games ever created in my
That
head.
was just basically like, I mean, it had NFL players obviously, but it was just basically like backyard football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was all professional players.
Right.
Like, it was cool as shit.
I
They
wish
did,
they
they
could
did
make
the
a
same thing
game.
with a basketball game, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yep.
What was that game called?
Um,
It wasn't called NBA Street, I don't think, was it?
it
I
might have
can't
been.
remember.
I don't know.
honestly.
But I do know what you're talking about because I used to have it.
I wish they would make like either some type of console or something like that, or like software where, like, say we're creating a wrestler or something like that, or creating a player for football or basketball or whatever game we have, but it's our actual face. Like, not that looks like our face, it's our actual face. And I know they have things where you can scan your face and then put it on it, but it looks goofy when you do that. Like when you put it on an actual, like, I wish they had something where you can just like send a picture or whatever of your face, like whatever picture you want on there, and then that's the actual, like, they turn it into that, your face into that character, instead of it looking like a picture is on this guy's body running around.
I want to say that was NBA Jam.
What is that? Oh, I didn't even see him come on. NBA Jam, that might have been what it is.
Yeah, I think it was.
But they're like, I was like, I thought someone just called in. I was like, how did this happen?
That's why I was like, wait a minute.
No, that's just me popping in to get my 2 cents in between calls.
All right.
What was that
Yeah, it might have
game? It was a wrestling game. It was a backyard wrestling game, but you can be like the freaking those clown rappers or whatever you want to call them.
Insane Clown Posse, that was it was literally called Backyard Wrestling.
Yep, it was
Oh.
called Backyard Wrestling.
There it goes.
I remember.
I used to have both of them.
I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot all about that game. That was literally us back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
that was us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for anybody that don't know, man, we used to be really dumb back in the day.
How tall are you, Stevie?
How tall am I? 6'4".
So Stevie is 6'4", and he picked up my cousin and lifted him above his head in the yard, and just stepped forward and dropped him. Like, his arms were fully extended, stepped forward and dropped him. Ended his career right there.
Yep. And then our cousin's lovely partners, me and Logan, tried to be nice and jump in to save him, to not lose the match. But as we're running to him, all you hear is, "Let him pin me! Let him pin me!" I was like, what?
Yep.
Stevie, me and you were just getting older and older, and we've been talking about this final hardcore match for how long now?
Dude, I know. It's been years. I don't, dude. I honestly, I could probably do it, but I think once I hit the ground or something, land, I'm done.
That's what I'm saying. We should have did it when we first started talking about it.
I
Don't
think
drag me out of shape. I am too fat and out of shape to get back in the ring.
I mean,
I'm gonna drop kick you over the top rope.
That's really what I wish we could do. Like, and dude, I think that'd be like, I think people would pay to come see that. Like, if we just rented a gym for a day and freaking got in that ring, and just like me, you, Robert, Brian, like whoever had matches, and then like the last match had like a battle royal or something like that.
Yeah.
Dude, I think
it'd be a last match all freaking, right?
Oh yeah, like we would.
Yeah, the last one ever.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like the last of the last. Like that's it. No more wrestling after that. And then just freaking get in there and have a battle royal at the end, and that'd be it.
I don't know. My dream is to do at least one CZW match.
Dude, I don't know about all that nonsense. I ain't really trying to get hit in the head with a light bulb and get stabbed with it.
Hey,
I don't know, man.
maybe
I
if
just
we
wanna
hit,
try
like,
it.
If we hit 5,000 followers, we'll go live and have a wrestling match.
On
Good
what?
wrestling.
On Facebook?
On everything.
I'll make one better, Robert. How about this? We hit. Let's see.
Don't be
It's gonna
going
be
some stupid number like 20.
No, no, we would already pass that. If we hit, now whoever's watching, make sure you guys share this for sure. If we hit 1,000 followers on Facebook and on YouTube, we will go live for a podcast. We will go live and we will have a wrestling match. And it ain't gonna be no hardcore stuff when we're making each other believer. It's gonna be hardcore enough when we're trying to get up.
Yeah, we're old and fragile. That is hardcore.
So we will figure something out where to have it, but we hit 1,000 followers on each of them, then we will do that. And also, if once we hit, because we're at 37 or something like that right now on YouTube, once we hit 50, we're still doing the World Titus Challenge. I didn't forget that.
But, well, I think that actually might be all that we have for the night at least.
That's it.
All right, who wants to do the sign off since Brian or Squirrel's not here?
Well, that would be you, Robert. Your echoing voice.
Well, you're also driving in a hurricane right now, Squirrel.
Yeah, I haven't heard a word he said. I just heard wind.
All right, Robert. Well, you get on your echoing voice there and get us on out of here.
My echo voice.
Well, this has been the Bearded Brothers podcast
There
with
he
your
is.
hosts, Robert, Steve, Squirrel, Logan, and Brian. You folks have a great night.